When it comes to long-term health issues from using anything, there can only be speculation with the Apple Vision Pro. What could happen to people who use them every day for years?
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Will their vision get worse? Will they start walking slumped over and grow a hump? The answer to that, of course, right now is, we don't know. Only time will tell.
Oh man, that is way too much pressure!
However, this is a perfect time to look at what we know and discuss what could happen if the right precautions aren't taken. Now, of course, I'm probably the last guy to be talking to people about being healthy. I logged more hours on the couch watching TV than someone trying to star in a, you know what?
Oh my God, no!
Never mind. Let's go ahead and just get into the video.
I have the perfect person to discuss these issues with. He's been doing YouTube probably as long as I have, and he has a lot of successful channels, and more importantly, he's got a health channel. So I want to go ahead and bring in my good friend Stevie Richards, and we're going to talk about the 5 health problems that you could potentially have with the Vision Pro.
Well, there's a couple things I have a problem with right there. First and foremost, you said I'm perfect. And second, you said I have a successful YouTube channel. So let's just fact check those first before we start fact checking the Apple Vision Pro. But I'm
forget fact checking.
I'm looking forward to being here and discussing this and catching up with my friend that I haven't talked to in a while. So thank you for having me on your channel.
No, absolutely. I appreciate that. And as I just said, you have an extensive history when it comes to health and fitness. And for those of you who may or may not know, Stevie is a professional wrestler. I don't think you ever are not a professional wrestler, and probably one of the most fit 50-something-year-olds that I know. And you know, when it comes to these health things that we're going to talk about, when you approached me with this, I was like, this is perfect. Being able to get your side of what you think these things could potentially be, I think is a huge help for people to be able to make an educated decision on whether or not, they want to pick one of these up. Not now, because I wouldn't say spend $4,000, but I would say maybe in the future if the price does go down a little bit.
But I think there's more elements too, not only being fit, thank God, at 52, but also having a ton of injuries and a medical history as well, which should speak more to the audience that's looking at the Apple Vision Pro, because there are, and we're going to read them off, but for the most part, there are a lot of caveats and liability issues that Apple is trying to avoid with their documentation. So we're going to get into all that. There's societal ones, there's health risks, there's vision. There's a ton of things we're going to cover that people may not think is anything right now. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. We could be talking about a potential epidemic of issues from stuff like this. Well, I think the first health concern is it actually made you 2 feet 5 inches tall compared to me in this video box.
Just a little context here. The video that you're watching is me shot from my camera. And when we were talking, I was using the camera on my iMac monitor, the one that I turn into a monitor. So here's the wide angle that makes it look like I'm about a foot tall compared to Stevie. I should have been more cognizant of that when we set up, because I offered him this footage and he declined. So that's on you. Just kidding. So back to the video.
I look like a giant. So if you don't use the Apple Vision Pro, you're actually going to turn into one of the Nephilim and you're going to be a giant. So if that's what you want. For all my my Bible friends out there.
And that's the neck and the issues that you talk about, with this. And it's like the prolonged use. And you said, I let my family use it, my brother, my sister, my wife, my daughter, my in-laws who were older. And that was one of the concerns is, wow, this thing really feels heavy on your head. Now, the other thing that I also hear about a lot of the reviews about the discomfort of it on your head and the forwardness of it, I don't see a ton of these videos using the one where the strap goes around the back and over the top of the head, because A, they think it looks stupid, and there is a little bit of weirdness to it. And you have to do it just right. You got to take your time to fit it on there, but it does take a lot of pressure off of the whatever you want to call it, the pulling down, but that's just minimal. That's just minimal. That strap that Apple is talking about is the greatest thing. Again, it's what people are using.
I think this is definitely an alpha, not even a beta version of the glasses they want to come out with. The technology, the software, the vision
Yeah.
part of the Vision Pro, it's something that obviously spatial computing, something completely new. But I think the hardware is very much in the alpha phase because now they've been patenting different things with the glasses, like the Google glasses that were so popular. I think the number one thing, like I said, I'm more hypersensitive than most people since I've had neck fusion surgery. I just came back from a spinal infection. So I'm very protective of my spine and compression and other kind of degenerative type of things. Just sitting here at the desk is going to degenerate your disc as a content creator, but putting this on could really just accelerate that type of stuff.
When it comes to using phones, we make the joke that people are like this and they're looking down at their phones all day, that they're going to walk around and they're going to have this issue. How do you deal with something like that? Because you have a smart device, you have the same thing, the iPad, where you're looking down. How does that affect you? Like, you got to be someone that goes, I don't like this. I want up, and so you tell me, how hypersensitive are you just to that? And those have been out forever.
Well, I mean, I wrestled for over 30 years, so we always have to tuck our chin. So I was already in position for the phone. But I'll tell you what I do, what I've been trying to do, and it was almost a blessing that Facebook and Instagram were down yesterday at the time of this recording because it just clears your mind for things. Like when I sit here and I edit, the phone is literally in the next room on the charger. Whenever I need to do work or do anything, I need to come into the studio, sit down and work. And obviously I still scroll and do everything that we do, but it is really, really reduced as far as before I got this workstation with the setup I have. And I have to edit videos, get assets. I'm going to start writing scripts because I have the Elgato prompter coming in for the new presentation on the wrestling channel. So I've minimized that kind of stuff. And when I find myself doing that outside of the camera, when I use the video camera, like you're using for a second angle, I've done that. But I still, like I said, I'm hypersensitive and I'm sure you are too. You can start to feel when you're like this for a few minutes. Oh, wait, hold on a second. My wife even has a timer that shuts the phone off of the mode or shuts down social media. So we're doing our best to be accountable to that. But I mean, that's a phone. This thing, getting back to the Apple Vision Pro, that's the first thing I thought of. And also, I assumed, and this is where you can educate everybody out there, Mike. I assumed that Apple, like the watch, that they did long-term health assessments, they did long-term testing, they made sure like they did CT scans and MRIs and x-rays to see if that tech neck, as they call it with the phones, or any kind of compression on the vertebrae over 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, however long. But you have some information that they pretty much like you dudes are on your own with that.
Yeah, I honestly, the outside from the people who actually were developing this, I don't know anyone else that even, anyone else at Apple that probably even knew that what this looked like and what it was going to come out as far as being able to go through that. Could they have had a form of testing the weight and the distribution on that? I'm sure they have, and I'm sure that they would tell you that what they came up with is the optimal way to wear it.
I remember years and years back when I flew all the time that the Sky Mall, the Delta Sky Mall or Sharper Image had those things that they just look like little thin glasses that you can make your DVD player at the time, wasn't even iPads or anything, make it into like a 65-inch TV that you can just sit back. And they were super thin and had the wire and everything. So we're talking 15, 20 years ago. So to see this monstrosity come out that I don't know, just from the eyeballing, you tell me because you actually have it and you've worn it. You compare it to a PSVR or an Oculus Quest, it looks like it's even bigger than both of those to some degree.
I have the Quest 3, and when it comes to just the Quest 3 is much lighter. and plastic for obvious reasons. But I think the Apple Vision Pro is a combination of typical Apple over engineering. Everything's got to be metal, everything's got to look premium, and therefore we can charge a premium on it. As far as when it comes to the size, I would say they're about the same, size wise. Apple, of course, with the design, makes it look like they want to make it look like a fashion statement, so people are going to wear these out in public, which please don't.
Oh, we got to
And
get to that in a minute.
and and I think when it comes to just the development wise and what Apple's doing with it, uh, it can be a lot lighter. It can be a lot smaller. And like you said, with the idea that they had these glasses that did all this, I think right now goes back to me saying that they threw everything into this, but the kitchen sink, and they have technology in there that may be larger than it needs to be right now. So cameras, I don't know. And size wise, like you said, I don't think they're that much different. Weight wise, there's a big difference. You know what the sad thing is? I'm afraid this is going to turn into, obviously, Apple wants to make these things as light as possible because they want to improve the experience, because that's one of the biggest complaints. I don't know how long it's going to take. I hope it doesn't turn into we've made it 20% lighter. We've made it 15% lighter.
Dude,
Statistics.
you know that's going to happen. Stop.
Oh, I know it's going to happen. I'm putting it out there so I can say, I said it. I said it.
They're admitting it was too heavy without admitting it's too heavy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Number two, you said, for using it at home, most of the time at home, people will be sitting and of course, minimal movement. Should there be a stand-up mode to make sure people are getting exercise, continuation of the back and neck issues, along with Apple wanting to market these as spatial computing? People are reviewing these as something to do while sitting at home, watching movies, playing games, etc. If these could be used for exercise, I feel like at this point, it's an oxymoron. LOL. I don't know if these ever will, but that's the notes we shared.
Yeah.
Yeah, exercise with that. I mean, you know what it is? It's probably like the old 70s or 80s when they used to strap the neck harness and do the started wrestling. So that could be the next way to strengthen your neck for a professional wrestling career. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah. These are not in any way going to be any kind of workout with these. And I'm not saying
walked around the house and it looked very awkward.
It is
corners and stuff.
It's extremely awkward because you only have, at the end of the day, the vision is literally this, and you're looking, and that's your peripheral. You literally would have to go like this, like you have a broken neck, to be able to see everything that you're doing as far as moving around. Then yes, there is the pass through.
You actually looked on Apple's website or somewhere with documentation
Yeah.
to see if there's any liability or if there's any kind of references to back up the fact that this indeed, has been tested and is safe. And that's why I was joking in the beginning, like, hey, you guys are on your own, because that's kind of what you told me from the documentation.
Yeah, and they literally have the list of buyer beware. Don't go on this ride if you're pregnant, or what, if you have neck issues or heart issues, don't go on this ride, type of deal.
Or if you can see, don't, because you won't be able to see afterwards. So if you have vision,
it's funny you bringing that up and me literally going on to look this up as we're talking. I found a different style that they have it. Important safety information for Apple Vision Pro. We can throw this up and everybody can take a look at it. It literally, children. Apple Vision Pro is fit for children 13 or older. My daughter's 11 when she used this, and she loves it. Yeah, kids under 13 are going to be using this. Not a medical device. Medical conditions, surroundings, custom fit, duration, handling. This is the list that goes down. And there is a paragraph for each one on there. And people can check it out and take a look at it. I'm not going to read it to them because it literally is just a list of, oh, hey, by the way, the fine print. And it's amazing. For example, conditions. Apple Vision Pro will not detect all obstacles or conditions, Be aware of furniture or obstacles, pets, and children, oh boy, before using the device while standing or moving. Clear any obstacles if necessary. Immersive experiences or loss of device power will block your ability to see. The idea of the cameras. Avoid situations and obstacles that may cause power cable to be disconnected. That's a whole nother story in itself. Remove Apple Vision Pro immediately if the loss of power occurs. That's just one section of this entire
How
thing.
many pages is this thing?
I would say that it's probably 2 pages of
But a
information.
paragraph per, like, yeah.
Yeah, a
We are going to
paragraph
have a
per.
link to it in both of our descriptions on both of our channels. This is going to be on
Yeah,
my channel as well as yours. So
yeah,
we'll have a link for that, and we'll be B-rolling these paragraphs as we go. Not for the
yeah.
whole thing. We'd have to keep talking to show everything.
Yeah, exactly. But, and that's just part of it. I mean, there is another thing that just talks about the idea of dizziness. Take them off. Consult your doctor. It's the legal mumbo jumbo that will have them be able to go back and go, "Ow, but we told you. We told you that this could happen." So, it's on there. And that's standard, right? I mean, we shouldn't be surprised that I was able to find something like that. That shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. But we bring it up because not everyone has it in the forefront of their mind to go, "Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe I should think about how I'm going to use this and what could potentially happen down the road."
That's what I liked about your review. I could see your family using it. You
Mhm.
talked about the airport and the airplane, and you had B-roll of the actual event
Yeah.
occurring. And then you had a dude, like, he was in love with you, by the way. He was watching you,
That was hilarious.
but I think you were, when you're doing this, this is the social part. If we want to make the segue,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
you're going kids in the hall crushing people's heads as you're
Yeah.
looking around. That's for the old people out there.
No, I'm crushing your head. I crush your head. Crush, crush.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
talk about that part, because you were part. This is all you. You put this thing, to use a saying, out in the wild. So tell me about the social, like, you're a social experiment walking around with this thing. Tell me about what that was like.
You watch the videos of people literally walking around, doing things, whether they're driving, riding something, ordering something, as innocent as sitting down. Now, of course, where some of these people choose to sit and do what they're doing, you're asking for attention. I know I wasn't necessarily asking for attention when I was sitting at the airport in the waiting area for the plane, and I have these on. It's pretty easy to sit there and go, "Oh my god, what's that guy wearing?" If I put these on, no one's gonna come by and go, "Oh my god, what is he wearing?" He's wearing headphones. Moving on. But when you have something here that looks like I'm about to go skiing that people haven't seen before, then you're going to get looks. The whispers, there happen to be, and this is a perfect explanation of this. There happened to be, I don't know, 50 to 60 teenagers, girls, going to a dance competition down in Florida, which is where we were flying to. And they were all out and about on the one side. And the first part, as I was using it, I wasn't recording, and my daughter, being 11, very aware of what's going on around her, thankfully, says, "Dad, they're talking about you. Dad, they're whispering. I can hear." It's like, "Sweetie, I hear them." "Oh, is that the Apple Pro? That guy's using the Apple Pro. That's the Apple Vision Pro." That's all I heard. And, I still put them on because I wanted to see what it was like to use them from that idea of being to use them for an actual purpose, and not just to use them to go, "Hey, look, I'm out in public using these. Look at me," type of mentality. And when it comes to that social interaction, it's awkward. It's awkward having these on your face. I felt awkward. Now, do I care? No, because I have something to accomplish. I'm using this from the standpoint of how can I make this work and something that I use and not get up and walk to the bathroom with them, which, thinking about that, is a total creep move, or walking around with them on. And, a discussion that people don't have, people have such a problem being recorded, and we see it all the time on social media everywhere. Are you recording me? You can't record me. But people with these Vision Pro are walking around and they're completely missing the point of what this person's doing. They're walking around recording you. They're recording you. They could take pictures of you. And not one person said, "Is that recording me?" Because it was literally it went right over their heads.
Well, it's not a feature they advertised. The Google Glasses said you take pictures and videos and stuff. Apple never said that. This is spatial computing. So they just thought you were working on your computer, not doing all this. I had a PSVR. I enjoyed it, even though 10 to 15 minutes was the max. I loved playing certain games on there, Star Trek Bridge Crew, other things. But I'm sitting right here and I still not moving around, not doing the boxing. I felt it after 10, 15 minutes. But I also felt disoriented from my surroundings and the environment. So with the last thing you talked about, the social disconnect, basically of augmented reality, virtual reality, and especially with this, video editing and everything else and working on the computer is immersive enough that kind of takes you out of the world. When it's surrounding my entire face and my vision, you have to think there's going to be some there's a ton of long-term societal things going on with different elements in the world, but this is not going to contribute to a positive motion of any of that.
The idea of social disconnect on a different level is certainly something that we're going to have to wait and see, because people's heads buried in their phones. We've already seen what happens there. People have walked out in the middle of the street. People walk into you. People just are not paying attention, and for whatever reason, they're missing out what's happening in front of them.
We love and use technology. We wouldn't be able to do this
Mhm.
if there wasn't technology, but you got to be measured. There's got to be a purpose, and we're using it for work. I don't think we would use it this much
No.
if it wasn't part of our businesses and our
Mm-mm.
careers and stuff like that. And I don't see myself ever really. The PSVR was enough for me, and I'm sure when you were using the Oculus, it's cool and this and that, but it's not going to be the main piece of entertainment, gaming, work, all
No.
these different things. I'd rather keep it very fragmented with my Xbox, the computer, and then the
Mhm.
real world. That's the three-pronged attack.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to live my life. That would be a good mixture and balance.
Exactly.
I want to talk. You were in the Philly airport, by the way. So you go around Philly with these things on. Let's talk about the next thing. You don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
someone's going to swipe these or attack you or rob you? I mean, you might think, well, that's not a potential health risk. Oh, yes, it is.
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
yes, it is.
The
It's a
the
potential
dangers of
life
that.
risk.
Right.
Somebody will, they know how much those things cost. And,
Absolutely. And
it
most
doesn't
of these
matter with the find my Apple Vision Pro or the tag or whatever you're going to do, they're still going to get you. So
Yeah.
not necessarily safe times in 2024. So talk about that. Did you ever think like you're in the middle of an airport, but people are getting pretty brave? Did you ever worry like, somebody could swipe these, or if I go to the bathroom and leave my bag or whatever,
Oh,
on
yeah.
what's going to happen? Or even
Absolutely.
your kid puts them on, somebody could swipe them off your kid.
Right off the face.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing. I not only put it in that category of taking them off your head and running with them. Um, the battery that's clicked on, before these came out, we had no idea what the wire did, or why it was connected, or how it was connected. We all assumed that it was just going to be a magnet. Now it does lock on, and of course, a thief isn't going to understand that. They're going to grab that wire and they're going to pull if they want these, and they'll get them regardless. But either this will rip off the little cable, or wherever your battery is going to rip off there, and it's going to be gone. And the idea of anyone messing with the wire when you're on a flight, because if you're sitting in the left side of the plane, it's right here. So if you're sitting in the end seat, and you got this wire dangling down, someone could walk by and you're going with them. But back to the safety thing. Yeah, I don't want to walk around with these things in the airport with them on. At no point did I do that. I sat down and I took them out and put them on, and when I was done, I took them off and put them back in that horrible looking Apple case that I did not keep. And, it was right next to me. So, like an expensive laptop, like, my phone, this is something that I'm not gonna leave my side.
You got it. I mean, you mentioned it, and I see it in the notes. I just have trouble believing it. Did they really show people driving with these things on?
I did see a few videos of people using these while they're driving. I would say chances are they did this to post it on the internet to get a rise out of people, to say, "Oh, look, I can drive my Tesla, and I can wear these because the Tesla is driving me." And if someone legitimately gets in a car and says, "I'm gonna drive with these and I should be okay," you know what? Go for it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, you're endangering other people's lives. If you wanna go do it and run into a tree, that's just Darwin at work. I I would hope that people would be smart enough to know to not wear these while they're driving. But
I
then
can see by
again,
your face already you don't believe what you're saying.
no.
That you would
What?
hope people are smart enough to
Oh,
not wear these
no,
stuff.
no, no. I don't believe it at all because we've seen people with Tesla fall asleep while the car is driving. This is gonna be a thing. And when it happens, it's only gonna take one person for it to happen, and the whole
Well,
world's gonna
yeah. Well, that person who did it as a stunt, possibly, the only thing rising is going to be their auto insurance.
Yeah,
If State
exactly.
Farm or whatever gets a hold of that,
Right.
seriously, if I look at that and be like, I might even
Yeah.
cancel their insurance.
There is so much more to talk about when it comes to health concerns that we may not even have realized yet. But Stevie, I really want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this. And we actually recorded this video with a little bit more information that's going to be going up on Stevie's channel. Please, please, please go ahead and check out his links down below. He does a wrestling analysis channel that blew up. And I love watching all of that because when you have someone that knows the business and knows wrestling and knows fitness, talking about the rights and the wrongs and what could have potentially happened, I'm fascinated by the channel. The fitness, of course, you've been on my back for a long time to get healthy, and I think this is the push that is going to help with that. So all the links are down below. I can't thank you enough for coming on here and putting a little bit of professionalism and knowledge into the idea of the health concerns. Why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about what I got wrong for your channels?
Well, you got wrong. No, you actually pumped it up more than I ever would. I'm a bad pitch man. I would say this too. The bonus is making all the Apple fanboy reviewers mad at the same time is a secret little pleasure of mine and yours.
Oh,
But
of
no, Stevie
course.
Richards Fitness is where we talk about home gym, garage gym stuff, review things, give updated reviews. And I even pivoted to really lean into content that I can speak to, which is somebody over 50. So for men over 50 or people over 50, we do videos about that and sharing the journey of the struggles, the successes and failures as a man over 50 with the injuries, medical history, all that stuff. And the Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis channel, your production value has inspired me to take a different turn and make more of kind of a history channel documentary type of approach with talking b-roll, trying to add the cool Ken Burns effect without paying the Final Cut Pro $22. uh but I probably will eventually. It's a good plugin. But to be able to add more value, because I believe what you and I are doing right now, even though we really love doing the YouTube stuff and everything, I think we're sharpening our skills for something even much bigger post YouTube. And I really do believe that. And we push each other to do better work. So thank you for that.
For sure. No, and thank you so much. So, guys, again, links in the description. Please go ahead and check out his channels. He also has a tech channel too. Now, he used to do tech a long time ago, and he focused on pleasing the YouTube algorithm and things I think you like as well. But also has a tech channel that he started up. So a lot of knowledge there beyond anything when it comes to beyond
I'll
Apple.
give you a heart. I'll give you a heart thing in
Oh,
StreamYard. Is it coming? There you go.
oh, that's
right
horrible.
There. We'll
Oh,
end it
dear
right there.
Lord. I'll have to edit that out. So
Next,
anyway.
next we're going to come out with a pacemaker from Apple.
Oh, good Lord. If you want to check out my other videos that I did on the Apple Vision Pro, go ahead and hit those right there. No, go ahead and hit those right there. I got it wrong. I can't believe it. And of course, don't forget to hit those subscribe buttons. I'll put Stevie's right here as well. And thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video.